They're looking for me, and it's time for us to find each other and quit playing all these games, okay? It's time. Hello.
Hello?
I'm Lauren.
I'm Cameron.
What kind of work do you do?
I work in artificial intelligence.
When you say artificial intelligence, I think about like building robots and...
Yeah, I'm basically taking over the world.
My name is Cameron Hamilton. I'm 28 and I'm from Lee, Maine. I always hear, you don't look like a scientist. But as a scientist, I'm a believer in this experiment. It's removing the confounding variables of ethnicity, race, background, and the big one being physical appearance.
Yo, this is probably one of the most infectious shows that you're going to find streaming anywhere. And I found myself, I got caught up in it, had to be, you know, a lot of times I like to escape through Netflix.
Right.
You know, go on a binge and just lose myself for 36 hours and wake up and still have the same problems I tried to escape from. But this show, Love is Blind, is a really interesting show. And you know, it's funny, I skipped over it a few times before I went into it because I was looking at the trailer and I didn't know if it was going to be popcorn, fluff, contrived,
Right.
people who just want to be on reality TV.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was actually this couple, you two,
Oh, man.
is what kept my attention because I wanted to see how it played out. I want to welcome Lauren Speed and Cameron Hamilton, Lauren and Cameron Hamilton. Yes.
The Hamiltons.
The Hamiltons are here, and can you break down, Cameron, for Heather B? She hasn't watched it yet.
Sure.
But she's been hearing so much about it.
Yeah.
Tell her what the plot, the whole format was. 30 days, right? Or what was it?
Yeah, it was about 7 weeks.
Okay.
But the idea is that it's 15 men, 15 women. You go to this facility and there are these pods, kind of like a meditation chamber where you're talking to each other through this wall and you can't see each other, but all you have is your voice to connect and in the conversation that you make there.
Yeah. And then you choose each other, like, okay, I want to pursue this with him or...
Right. I mean, if you have a connection, then you pretty much take it to the next step, which is like, okay, can we see this going further and possibly start to build a life together, you know, in the long form. So
when you chose Cameron, did you know he was Caucasian?
you know what? I didn't know what Cameron was because I feel like he could have been anything. He could have been Asian. He could have been Puerto Rican. I mean, you know, I feel like Cameron has one of those voices, quote unquote, where it's just like it could be anything to me.
Never know.
You never know, right? So when you first set eyes on him, what were your initial thoughts?
I thought he was sexy. I mean, I was just like, yes. I was happy. I mean, I was definitely attracted to him.
Thank you, baby.
Outside of being like, oh, okay, well, he's, you know.
White.
Yeah. Basically.
Cameron, when you first saw Lauren, what were your thoughts, and can you read her shirt first?
Her shirt says black women are a gift from God, and
Come
that's
on now.
100% true.
That's what you were thinking, right?
That's absolutely.
Okay. This is so interesting because, okay, so the way it plays out too, Heather, so after you guys select each other, right?
Yeah.
Then you spend time with each other.
Right.
Okay, when does the engagement part happen?
So the engagement part happens like within the pods.
Okay.
Okay. So before we even see each other, you get engaged. So we got engaged before seeing each other's face.
Right.
After that, then we have the reveal ceremony where we actually do see each other, which is like the next day. After that, then we go on a vacation where we kind of try to solidify the physical connection and things like that.
Yeah, solidify the physical connection.
What kind of you try to? But I say this because watching the show, I saw Amber and Matthew Barnett, Gianna and Damon. Poor Mark.
Oh, man.
Mark got played out from the beginning. Jessica never was into Mark. She never was into him. She said it. She had a problem with his physical appearance because he's a beautiful heart. Has a beautiful heart.
Yeah.
Right. What is his ethnicity?
Mark is Mexican.
He's Mexican.
Yes.
Okay, and she couldn't get with the Mexican. It just couldn't.
It was something.
I don't know.
That's what came
I
off to
feel
me. Like,
yeah, I think that me and Jessica did have a conversation, which didn't make it on, and she was just like, wow, you and Cameron, I see, how is it being an interracial couple? And she actually told me that I think it was a situation in her family where someone had also dated someone who was, I guess, Mexican Latino. Is that I want to say the right words.
Okay.
And she was just saying how, wow, I've never done this before and it's kind of different. So I don't know if that was so much an issue for her as just maybe she just wasn't feeling him in general. So
She's found reasons.
Yeah.
Maybe, and we didn't know how deeply she was into Barnett either.
Yeah, that was a shock to kind of everybody because we were watching it just like the rest of the world. Like, dang, she said that to him?
Yeah, we didn't know.
Uncomfortable. Yeah, so.
She was so thirsty, Heather. So just like they're a couple, she was coupled off with Mark and Barnett was coupled off with Amber. Barnett's a handsome dude, dashing guy or whatever. And in every opportunity she got, she tried to, kind of come
infiltrate.
in, tried to backdoor Barnett, and he kept telling her,
I'm happy.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not into you.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Now, all of them was, at one point, they was selling. No, hold up.
Okay.
Now, let me say this, and then you correct me where I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, everybody was bragging about having slept with some, I was watching the show.
Okay, I'm not stopping you.
You didn't.
I didn't brag.
You didn't even speak on it. You said at the least the episode I was watching that, what I do behind closed doors, I'm not going to kiss and tell. While other people were celebrating what happened the other night. I don't know if they were having sex or they were lying about it.
Right.
But they were bragging as if they all crossed that line early on.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you
Brag about it?
Yeah.
It was between Lauren and I. It's not my place to talk about whether we had sex. That's just between us.
When he did that,
Husband
that's
talk.
when I start thinking about my daughter. I don't know about the Caucasian thing, but my daughter.
I'll try and convince him.
So at one point you had to meet her dad, who is like he's pro-black.
Yeah.
I like her dad.
Yeah.
Me too.
One
I
of
love
my
it.
uncles or something. You know what I mean? He ain't anti anything. He just pro-black.
Right.
Me too.
He never had the vision.
That's right,
You too. He never visualized his beautiful, amazing daughter with someone who would be other than black.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you met him, what were you thinking, man?
Well, the biggest thing for me was I knew that Lauren, her father is everything to her and her mom as well, but her dad is really her biggest role model. Mm-hmm. And meeting her dad was the most important moment of this for her. So I knew that it was important for me to show him how much I loved her, show him that, I was there for the right reasons. And I knew my intentions were good. So I wasn't worried so much. I just knew that I kind of had to communicate with him in the right way.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you accomplished that, Cameron, as a dad watching that whole thing unfold. I was ready to get in your ass if you did that wrong, man. Go ahead, Tracy.
Oh, my dad was too.
Wasn't he?
Lauren,
Ready.
how was your dad and your mom's response to being on the show? Like, how do you explain this to...
Yeah. You mean me being on the
Yeah.
show? Well, first they were like, girl, what's wrong with you? But at the same time, as I mentioned on the show, my mom was like, well, you're not getting any younger, so who knows? You may go on there and really find somebody, child. So do your best. But like my parents, they pretty much trust me and my character, and they trust that I wouldn't pick somebody to marry and bring home if I didn't really feel something. Like, I'm not about to marry somebody for TV. That's just not me.
Yeah.
If I do decide that I'm gonna bring somebody home, then it's for real.
Okay.
So my parents definitely, at first they thought it was crazy because it is. But then, they warmed up to it. Like, if this is what you really want, let's see it through. Let's see what happens.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cameron and Lauren Hamilton from Love is Blind, which is available right now on Netflix.
Okay, as Sway mentioned earlier, you guys, I had no idea about the show, but you guys walked past this studio earlier, and I just thought to myself, wow, that's a good-looking bunch. I didn't even know you guys were married, so congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that.
Thank
and
you.
we always ask black females, what did your dad think anytime, or what did your mama think when you bring home someone from a different ethnicity?
Yeah.
But for you, Cameron, What did your mom think? Like,
Right.
What was it in your household?
Yeah. So Lauren met my mom. I wish it was shown on the show.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly why. But they had a great moment where they bonded. Lauren was showing mom her wedding dress on her phone, and you know, they were just, that was that initial moment where they started connecting.
Yeah.
Of course, like Lauren's parents, they were skeptical of me going on the show. I mean, they basically said, don't do it. And I knew I had to. So when they met her, I think they could see how much I loved her immediately. And what did my dad say? I forget.
What was his response?
Yeah, or you were telling me yesterday that, or was it mom who said?
Oh yeah, they were just like, as soon as I walked in, the first thing that his mom said was like, "Wow, she is just as pretty as you said," and I was like, "Oh, I'm in there, I'm in there." Yeah, so that was sweet.
Yeah.
That's nice.
They didn't ask if you cook grits or nothing like that.
Oh, actually, the funny thing is, when I showed up, I brought grits.
You brought grits?
I swear to God, I
knew what
brought
to do, damn
grits
it.
and like shrimp. I brought shrimp and grits.
Yeah.
When I met him.
Yeah, I like that. Look, I want to open up these phone lines, have people get a chance to talk with you and ask you questions. 888, if you're fans of Love is Blind, 888-742-3345. And to be totally transparent, how long you've been married now?
A year and a half.
A year and a half, Heather.
That's beautiful.
And Cameron knew he loved her. Did you know you loved her at the pod stage or when you first saw her? You
At
fell
the
in
pod.
love in the interview.
Wow.
In the interview?
Like, I mean, y'all were basically
Well, we were-
interviewing each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's more so like a phone conversation. You remember back in the day when you used to be on the phone all day and
Hours, yeah.
all night?
Uh-huh.
Like that's what it was like. Like you could feel like you love somebody through those phone conversations.
Yeah, and
so that's what it was like. It wasn't just like a hey, how are you? Oh, okay, I'm good. It's
Right.
like what you doing? You know, it's just like you really lean into it.
And it's
So-
not a 10-minute phone call.
Oh no, we were
Right.
having dates sometimes for up to 4 or 5 hours at
Yeah.
a time.
Wow.
Hours and hours that we didn't get a chance to see.
Exactly.
Right,
but,
right.
You know.
Yeah, we're going to come back and talk more about this. 888-742-3345. Sway, good morning. Sway in the morning, Shade 45. The Hamiltons are here. Lauren and Cameron are here. From Love is Blind, available on Netflix. My co-workers, my good friends, Nick and Vanessa Lachey.
Yes, love
Hosted
them.
it, and you know I've worked with Vanessa and for years over at MTV. I remember when she first met Nick, you know, and their love affair started, and then they soon became the way you guys have become, and then built a family. And to watch them, you know, that was the other reason why I watched. Oh, Nick and Vanessa, and Vanessa's my girl, Nick's my homie,
Love her.
and I thought they worked so well together. That chemistry, right?
Yeah.
And how they presented on the show. Couple of things happened. So this is a show where 15 women, 15 men come together. They, you know, interview each other, and, you know, with a pod. They don't know what they look like through conversations. They fall in love. They still engaged immediately. They hang out for how long? Did the show last 7 weeks?
7 weeks.
Yeah, almost 2 months.
About 2 months, and then the finale, Heather. This is what's crazy.
Okay,
This
let me
part
know.
right here.
Let me know.
This is the part that's crazy. So you go through all emotions. You have a bachelor party, a bachelorette party.
Yeah.
You go picking out wedding dresses. You know, girls are crying.
But you're saying all of this all without actually seeing the person.
Yeah, well,
No,
no,
at
at
this
this point,
point
they're seeing the
Oh,
person.
yeah.
Oh,
Once you
okay.
get engaged, you can
You
see
can
each other.
once you get engaged. Once
But you
come
didn't
out-
see him prior to, or each other, but prior to getting engaged.
No, you proposed through the
Oh
wall.
my gosh.
Yeah.
through the wall.
I know it's a lot it sounds like a lot, and it is, but you have to watch it. It's good.
It's
I
good.
will now,
And
yeah.
in the finale, all the couples. Do the weddings all take place on the same day?
No.
Okay, they're all on different
Yeah.
days, but it feels like it's because it's in the same episode.
Right.
Right.
And so, you know, Cameron might be standing there, and then Lauren gets walked up the aisle, and then the preacher goes, you know, do you, Cameron, take her to be your wife? And he goes, yes. And when you say yes, you're really deciding that this is really going to go through. We're really going to go get married. So if you've been playing around for the last 7 weeks, this is the moment of truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so people are waiting to hear what the other person's answer is going to be. And not everybody answered yes, and people were getting their hearts crushed
Yeah.
right there on camera.
It's pretty ugly.
It was pretty ugly.
Hard to watch.
And the entire time that you're hanging out, like it was one point in your relationship where where Lauren was kind of didn't really say I love you. I think
Right.
you're great, but I don't know yet if I
Right.
want to
Yeah.
get married. I think even the night before the wedding, right? Or
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was very close up until the wedding.
yeah,
Yeah, and who could blame her? The timeline was super tight.
Yeah.
I mean, we all knew what the timeline was, but then being there, it's just stressful.
yeah,
You know, and I've never doubted that she loved me or that she wanted to get married eventually, but I mean, it's a lot to ask in such a short time.
Yeah.
yeah. And then she said yes.
Thank God.
And what was your first thought? What was your first feeling?
I mean, that was the biggest moment of bliss in my entire life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, this dude right here, man. You see what I mean?
That's
with
my
this
husband right there.
So people were breaking engagements on the show, like
Yeah, no matter what,
Yeah.
if you decided that you didn't want to get married, you had to say that at the altar. Like, I don't want to do this. So you had to go through, get the dress, get the, pick out the flowers that you would have had, all that. So, but I think that's also
And the family's in the crowd.
Yeah,
Right.
You know,
I feel
type
like,
of- yeah.
yeah, that's also to deter people from just getting engaged to be on the show. Because it's
Right.
like, if you do this, you're gonna have to see it all. Not have to. Nobody's
No one's
against their
forced.
will, but that's the premise of the show. Like, you'll have
Yeah.
to go all the way through and say no at the altar if you decide
Right.
not to do
And
it.
we all knew what we were getting into. I
Right.
mean, at least people who read
The contract.
the contract knew that.
It's important to read these contracts.
Oh,
You
yeah.
forgot, right?
More
Tracy
ways
G.
than one.
Queen.
Before this show, did you guys ever think to yourself, all right, the prerequisite before marriage is I want to live with a person. You know what I mean? Or even like I'm thinking as a black girl,
Yeah.
how we go through the phase of I got to show this man what I look like with a head wrap or different, scalp
Girl,
switch ups that happen.
I had my
Sure.
bonnet on the show.
yeah.
Right.
I
That's right,
literally
yeah.
had my bonnet on the show, and I got so much response from that. Black women like, yes, girl, you better show him your bonnet. And to me, like, that was so important to me because I'm like, look, this is the real deal. This is how I keep my hair at night. This is what I do. And if you're going to love me, you're going to have to love this bonnet.
Word.
So a lot of women saw that and they really appreciated that authenticity. Like, okay, this girl's real. This is her true self. She's, you know what I mean? So I really appreciate that.
Let me take a few phone calls real quick. Jennifer is in Well, hold up. Jessica and Mark. That's the tragedy of this whole thing.
what
yeah.
happened with them?
In all fairness to Jessica, to your point, it's just a lot to ask somebody, and if you're not 100%, then it's hard to play along.
Yeah.
And I felt like she was trying to find a way to like this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was sweet as pie. He was throwing roses on beds. He was, and she just kept shitting on him. And then he'll find a reason to continue to go.
Right.
When this woman is literally hitting on another man in front of you,
Yeah.
getting tipsy, like beyond
Yeah, for sure.
beyond limits she shouldn't have been,
Right,
perhaps.
right.
And then walked all the way to the altar and just said, no, that dude looks so crushed. And then he still kind of, I feel like, was in denial.
Yeah, I think that Mark really kind of attached himself to an idea of what he thought Jessica was in the pods, and I think that it was hard for him to let that go once he got into the real world. And he was like, maybe she's not really feeling me like this, but I'm gonna keep trying. Who knows? And
Yeah.
Jessica was just kind of like, I don't think so. So it was
was
just
like-
kind of, it was not the best dynamic.
It was like a half full and a half empty personality combined.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's speak about personality because when Sway said you guys were coming here this morning, obviously because we're in a 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah.
Carlton, one of the cast
Yeah,
members,
yeah.
he was all over the news, TMZ, and the different outlets because he was getting backlash. People felt that maybe he was on the brink of suicide for not being honest. I don't want to put words in his
Right.
mouth for not being honest, but how do you go into a situation like that with you're a stranger? How honest did you feel like you had to be? Did you have to be, Cameron? And then do you think he was right sort of holding back some of the information if that's what he did exactly?
Yeah, I think that for me especially, it was very important for me I didn't want to be a representative on the dates. I wanted to be me. This is me. This is who I am. If we're talking about getting married, I'm putting all that on the table right up front.
I get it.
I don't want it to be a surprise to you after we're engaged. Like, okay, we're about to get married, but by the way, because to me, I feel like that's kind of robbing someone of the choice to say yes or no, regardless to what it is. I feel like that's kind of the same thing. Like if you had a kid, right? I feel like you
Gotta
might
tell
want to
it,
tell
yeah.
somebody up front because maybe they don't want to deal with that, and they have the right to do that. So I say put it all on the table up front.
And it's easier said than done too. It's hard to
Yeah.
be that vulnerable because you're opening yourself up to getting hurt majorly.
Yeah, and Diamond, who Carlton was paired up with, what did she ask him? Have you ever slept with a man? I think.
No, he actually.
He just
kind of came out with it. Like, I have to tell you that I've been in relationships with both genders, male and female. And he was just like, so what do you think about that? And Diamond, to me, I thought that she was pretty supportive. Like, okay, well, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
And I think that she said one phrase that kind of set him off, and it was just kind of like, you played the experiment.
In
Like,
a way.
you didn't do this right.
Yeah.
And after she said that, child,
It exploded.
it got to an ugly place, unfortunately. But
she felt like he should have revealed it sooner, but it was a 7-week. They didn't even last 7 weeks. I don't even know how long they lasted. They lasted a couple of weeks, and maybe he wasn't comfortable yet.
But how can you be comfortable not with that, but you're comfortable to marry someone?
Right.
Start a life? Yeah.
But he told her. He just did. He told her before they got married. He just said, they had some heartfelt conversations, and in those conversations, perhaps he didn't mention it.
Yeah.
But then when he did, maybe the timing wasn't right. She felt like you should have said it sooner.
Yeah.
Woo, boy, Love is Blind. Man, you better get up on this one.
It's a tough one.
Yeah,
it's a tough one.
tough.
All right, we got a lot of people on the line. Listen, quick questions, quick answers. We got the Hamiltons here from Love is Blind. Jennifer from Kansas. Good morning.
Hey, Jen.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. So I just wanted to say and just give you all the positivity and love, Cameron.
Thank
and Lauren, you guys are so beautiful together. I
Thank
cried
you.
17,000 times on the show watching the whole
Me
entire
too,
thing.
girl. Me too.
Oh, my God. I can't imagine being in that situation. But my coworker put me on to the show, and then I was like all the way up to the point where you guys had gotten married. But so I binge watched it all in one day. My husband thought I was lazy, so I didn't move. And then I was crying on the couch because I was so excited for y'all that y'all broke down all of those, like, stereotypical barriers and your families merged, and then you guys just seem to be way more connected than anybody that I've seen on that show. So I just want to give you love and light.
Thank you so much,
that.
man. We appreciate that.
I get a lot of love.
Yes.
All right. Jason in the Bay Area. Jennifer, you a citizen?
Sway, morning.
Okay, Jay, what up, man?
Hey, Jake.
Hey, what up, Sway? What up, everybody?
What up,
What's
though?
up, man?
Hey, I just want to say congratulations on you guys getting married, and
Thank you.
you guys are going to have a lot of haters.
Yeah.
Myself, I know I only met my wife on the phone, and within 2 months of meeting her on the phone, we got married, and we've been married now almost 16 years.
Come on,
that's
16
awesome.
years.
Wow.
Come
That's
on,
awesome.
16
And
years.
you guys will absolutely. I got married at 20 years old before I shipped out to Iraq, and it has not been a better life. And we've had so many haters. You guys are going to have haters. Just shake them off and keep going, because at the end of the day, it's about you two.
Right.
Not about
Appreciate
everybody
that.
else. It ain't about your friends and everything. It's about you two.
Absolutely.
So focus on that, and again, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Jay, you're a citizen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Morning.
What did your friends think when you brought home the white guy?
Oh,
I mean,
well,
because this black women are a gift from God.
yeah.
That's
Yes,
the
they
truth.
are.
That's the truth.
You know what I mean?
My friend Tiffany, she was very transparent. She was like, I told her, I said, I found a man. By the way, he's Caucasian. I slid it in there. She was like, oh, okay, well, this is new for us, So, but ultimately, she was supportive. I mean, the most important thing to my friends and family is that I'm with somebody who treats me right and respects me.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like you could be with somebody who's white or black or indifferent, whatever, and you could be, excuse me, pardon me, in a
She's
bad
getting
relationship.
choked up right now. Look
I
at she
am,
loved this
I
guy. She's
am.
getting choked up.
But it's more so about how somebody treats you, and that's what was important to my family and friends.
You like that, Each?
I love it. I love it. What's next for you guys? Because reality TV is so different now, where you can just spin off. And
Right.
so, what's next? If you can talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, definitely. I mean, we would love to continue with our story. Of course, we're going to start off with a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Hanging
And,
with the Hamiltons.
Yeah, if the
Perfect.
spinoff gods rain on us, then we'll see what happens.
What's the production company that did this? Love is Blind?
Kinetic.
Kinetic, if you don't jump on this now.
I'm telling you. Say it
Come
one more
on.
time,
If you
Sway.
don't jump on this now, I work over at Viacom. We'll walk something.
Come on now.
Come on. Let it happen.
Have your way, Lord. Have your way.
Have your way. Listen, one of the things that was revealed in this series had to be is that first of all, I didn't realize who your dad was.
Yeah.
Can you put some context to that?
Yeah, so my father is pretty much, he's been in the industry for
Legend.
years. Yeah, he's legendary. Bill Speed. He was actually one of the first people who came over to BET, created what is wrong with me? Sorry, the cough button. Created the show Video Soul, which was on BET with Donnie Simpson. So my dad is a producer, writer, creator. He helped come up with Black Music Month with Stevie Wonder. So my dad is a legend in the game.
And Donnie Simpson was one of my heroes. So because of your
Yeah.
dad and his vision, is why I do what I do now.
Right.
So
Video Soul. Then came TRL. Then came 106 in Park. So my dad pretty much created that format.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Bill Speed.
Tell your daddy
He's
to EP
awesome.
the show.
I know, right? For real.
Yeah, I'll help out. Well, you got scientist money. What kind of scientist are you?
So I work in artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could go a little deeper with us.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it can entail a lot of different things. So anything from building recommendation systems. So I just built one for CNN recommending articles on their website. Work with Cornell Med, building a system to predict whether someone who's had a concussion is going to continue having symptoms of the concussion after the incident. So it can mean a lot of different things. A lot of it has to do with predicting the future in some way. It can be other things too, like robots, just building intelligence into machines. That's
so they could function. Did you like the Will Smith movie, AI?
Yeah, of course. I love seeing it. I love it.
The other thing we found out about, and I'm sure it crossed his mind, knowing exactly where he was coming, because Cameron and Lauren, they both are citizens of Sway in the Morning.
Yes.
He knew, Cameron knew he was about to walk into the Valley of the Hyenas.
I knew this was coming.
Oh yeah, he spits
this was
bars.
coming.
Yes, he spits bars.
Knew it.
He can't. He rapped for her mom.
He did.
He dropped
I did.
bars. Yo, Wonder, drop a beat on him. Sway in the Morning, Shade 4-5. I know you came ready,
Right.
Cameron. Love is blind rap. Let's get it, baby.
Yeah. Who really tryna fuck with me in my lane? I'm the realest that came, classic like Citizen Kane. I got a neuroscience girl, yeah, I call her the brain. Her body's looking right, but her head is insane. I twist a Dutch up and pour a glass of Moscato. Your girl will follow me home by the end of the bottle, get in the S8. She can play with the throttle. I drive like NASCAR, bitch. I should say you don't dawdle. I see the cameras flashing, people passing as I drive by. They wonder what kid's about. I can see why. My music's straight dope, and y'all can say hi. Nike Dunks and fresh polos. I stay fly. I stay on my grind like it. My first concern is money, second staying alive. So when I'm finished and I'm done with the green, my biography is Forbes magazine. Kid.
Yeah! You see Cameron rapping? You see him spitting bars? Killer Cam. Thriller Cam. That's the nickname.
Fuck a Bill Nye.
Yo, your face, Tracy, was priceless. She had no idea.
Wow,
That was
Cam.
great.
Yo, that's great.
That's
man.
why I rock with this
That is
dude,
super.
man.
What's up?
Come on, man. Listen, congratulations.
Yes.
I'm
Thank
glad
you
you
so
found
much.
love. It's one of the most unconventional ways to do it. And ironically, we have Reverend Run and his lovely wife, Justine Simmons, who wrote a new book called Old School Love and Why It Works. And they talk about marriage the conventional way. But congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Y'all should get a spinoff. I'll give you my
Absolutely.
number. If nobody biting, get at me.
Okay.